Good evening, everyone, and I am hoping and praying that everyone had a nice, safe, and a very eventful 4th of July weekend. Welcome back to the channel for Failing is Not an Option, where we talk about different topics for how to take and pass the MFT national exam. But tonight I am going to be talking about a topic that doesn't just only apply to the MFT national exam. It can apply to so many different people around the world. And if this message is for you, I am hoping that this video finds you very well and you take from it and you learn something from it. In this video, I will be talking about just the surface level of intimate partner violence. It can be a very, very sensitive topic for some. It's a very sensitive topic for myself, and I can also talk about that as well as we go further through these slideshows that I have. But I just urge everyone to please listen to this video all the way to the end, because I have a message for my viewers, I have a message for my followers, I have a message for my new followers, and I also have a message to the many, many therapists around the world, not just my MFTs, but every therapist around the world. I have a message. Please watch this video all the way until the end, and let's take a dive, just a slight dive into intimate partner violence. And you may read my screen if you would like to, because as I said, this video is more for educational purposes for those taking the MFT national exam, but also for those that this topic may apply to. So when we talk about intimate partner violence, what does that actually mean? It is a behavior that an intimate partner or an ex-partner causes physical, sexual, or psychological harm. This, it includes physical aggression, sexual coercion, psychological abuse, and also controlling behaviors. In these next few slides, we will be talking about some of the top 3 IPV that you will be able to spot when it comes to the MFT national exam, but also when it comes to real life situations. And the first one that we are going to talk about is physical abuse. That is the physical violence that one may experience when they are in an intimate relationship. And that includes your what? Pushing, shoving, punching, hitting, restraining, choking, strangulation to your partner, and the physical violence component can sometimes be much easier to identify than any other types, because they are sometimes going to show us what? Physical markings on your body that others may be able to see, right? But sometimes the physical violence can also co-occur with emotional and psychological abuse, and we will also be talking about that. This next slide, just a disclosure, it is a very sensitive topic for some. If you feel that you need to pause this video and give yourself a moment, I am clearly okay with that. So, sexual violence. This is any sexual act or an attempt to obtain that sexual act by force, whether if it's rape, attempted rape, forcing sex without consent, and that is another topic that I know can obviously be triggering to some. So if you need to take a moment, go ahead and take a moment, but I reassure you, listen all the way to the end of this video. There is support for you. So forcing unprotected sex or sabotaging contraception, it's also a form of sexual violence. And I have something that is highlighted in red at the bottom that I want us all to listen to. Consent must be freely given or informed regardless of your relationship status. That goes for anyone who is married. Consent must be freely given. My ladies and gentlemen, no means no. Regardless of your relationship status, married, engaged, boyfriend, girlfriend, ladies and gentlemen, no means no. Alrighty, psychological and emotional abuse. This is the one sometimes that people say, sometimes scars are not physically seen, because the mental scars we cannot see from other people, right? So it's non-physical, right? It's meant to control, intimidate, isolate, manipulate that other person, your other partner. This is what you are doing when it comes to emotional abuse: belittling, threatening to harm your partner, verbal abuse, whether if it's name calling, degrading, demeaning, isolating your partner from your family, friends, or resources is a form of psychological and emotional abuse. But sometimes the emotional abuse can also do what? It can come with physical violence as well, right? So threatening to harm victims, children, even your pets or yourself is a form of psychological and emotional abuse. Gaslighting, manipulating someone, thinking that, wait, what you're saying, that can't be real. That's not reality. It's a form of psychological and emotional abuse. If you are experiencing any of this, like jealousy, possessiveness, monitoring of the behavior, needing to know your partner's every move, needing to know where your partner is going, needing to know what your partner is wearing, psychological and emotional abuse. So feel free, if you would like to take this time, pause this video, read my screen, so that you are able to identify the signs of each of these. Now, I want to touch on this topic right here because societal norms say that, men are the dominant and women are the submissive, and it's a reinforcing of the power imbalances that we have, that oftentimes a man is seen as the what? The abuser, the aggressor, the perpetrator, right? But women can also be the one that is perpetrating this, right? Because IPV can be perpetrated by anyone. Women can abuse male partners in a heterosexual relationship. IPV can occur in same-sex, non-binary partnerships. It can happen. It's not just a man thing. And if you take a minute, pause this video right here if you really need to, and take a look at some of these statistics that has been proven through the CDC. This is actual data that has been proven through. 1 in 7 men experience severe physical violence by an intimate partner. Right? And, it doesn't say, whether if it's by another male partner or if it's by a female partner, but 1 in 7 men experience it. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men have experienced some form of IPV. These are the gender roles and societal norms state that it's mostly men, but I am here to tell you that there are men out here who are victims. Not just women who are victims of intimate partner violence. It can occur in same-sex relationships at rates that are equal to or even higher in a heterosexual relationship. I just wanted to share that little bit of information because I know sometimes men are left out. Sometimes men are left out, and we focus so much on what the woman goes through, but men also go through it as well. And I wanted to just pay light to the gender roles and the inequalities that come with intimate partner violence. So let's get into a little bit of the educational component, right? Of what those red flags look like. And these are some of the early warning signs of IPV. Now, these are just a few. They can look differently in different people, right? So you see that controlling behavior, that jealousy, possessiveness, fast forwarding to a relationship, verbal or emotional abuse, but then we look at one of those highest risk factors, and that is the history of violence or abuse from that partner. If you find out that your partner previously abused the partner prior to you, or minimizing or justifying past abuse, that is a high risk factor that your partner might do it to you as well, right? Can be, cannot be, but one of the early warning signs, one of the highest risk, is previous or prior physical abuse that they have done to a partner in the past. Right? And we took a look at it, and we talked about what psychological and emotional abuse and what physical violence looks like. What you see in front of you right now is just simply going to be a repeat of what we've discussed, but these are just red flags that I want each of us to always pay attention to. as a victim of intimate partner violence, I identify with many of these that you see on the screen right now. And sometimes when we are in that relationship, it's hard to see them, right? We got our rose covered glasses on, and we're just looking at only the good sometimes, but then those red flags are flagging right in front of us. But what your partner is saying to you after it happens sometimes overshadows the red flags that you see. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm speaking for what I have gone through with some of these that I am seeing right now. And it can be hard to talk about it. This is a topic that is very hard to discuss, but sometimes discussing it gets it out there, because then we can learn to, start educating ourselves, right? So then we move into recognizing that escalation that we have, right? Sometimes it starts subtle, but then it escalates over time. And like I said, I'm speaking for myself, that I noticed the signs, I saw them, but you're like, when those red flags come, you're just like, oh, just forget about it, because when it's good, it's good. And again, I'm speaking on myself, because sometimes it can start with the criticism. I notice that, I recognize that, and it starts with the isolation, the control, the threats, and then it leads to the violence. Speaking for myself, I have experienced some of these right in that same direct pattern, right? But then when we want to recognize that escalation, we also need to start doing what? We got to start learning. We have to start teaching ourselves, because then we're able to, know healthy and unhealthy, and that abusive relationship behavior that we see. And for the next time, we don't want to go through that anymore. I knew for myself that was something that I didn't want to have to go through again. So like I said, we just touched the surface with this. I did not go too deep in this topic. I will be making another video about it where I do plan to go deeper in this area, and not, again, like I said, not just for those of you taking the MFT national exam, but for everyone. I want this to be for educational purposes, for those that need the support. Right? So I told everyone to make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because I have a message for each and every one of you. If this video applies to you, what is on the front of this screen I need you to do? I need you to do right now, because even though you are where you are right now, but there is a start of your healing journey, and it's coming for you. This can be the start of your healing journey with what you see right here on the front of my screen. If this message that I am giving you right now applies to you, please. And in my description of this video, I will put more support for everyone, not just nationally, but for people around the world. I have that information, and that will be a part in my description of this video. If this message applies to you, your healing journey starts right when you close this video. I have this message for not just my MFTs, but my AMFTs, my LCPs, my LCPCs, LSWs, and my LCSWs, and my interns that are currently in the field right now. This is the message to my therapists that I have. If you are working with this population, if you have been working with these victims, I need you to take care of yourself. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we help someone else? How can we help that man or that woman that is a victim of intimate partner violence if we are not doing regular supervision or consultation, where we are talking about these difficult cases, our own emotional reactions? Because like I keep saying, we all come into this field for a reason, and intimate partner violence might be one of them. So before we can even help somebody else, we got to first work on ourselves, because that countertransference can be strong. And when that countertransference is strong, it's going to blind you from what you need to be working on with that man or that woman that is experiencing that intimate partner violence. If you need therapy, go to therapy. Especially when working with trauma or intimate partner violence, I want you to have self-awareness, that emotional regulation for yourself. Set those emotional boundaries. Do not over identify and feel like you are responsible for their choices. Like I said, that countertransference can be so strong if you have lived this. If you've lived a journey like your clients have lived a journey for intimate partner violence, set emotional boundaries and acknowledge your compassion fatigue. Acknowledge it. Talk about these difficult cases. There is support for you out there, just as enough as there's support out here for the victims. There is support for you. How can we help others when we ourselves are also struggling when it comes to working with clients with trauma, intimate partner violence, and anything that you can relate with? It starts with you. It starts with you. We are going to get through this. This message is for not just my MFTs, all of my therapists around the world. This message is for you. Take care of yourself.